What I spoke about in quoting Jason Whitlock was a mentality. There is a gun culture in this country.
Let's get to that.
Tony Dungy, highly respected figure, said that when he coached the Colts, some 80 players, before they cut the roster down, show up in training camp, and he asked them, how many of you own guns? About 60 of the 80
Why do they have
hands.
the guns?
All right, they may feel that they need it for protection.
But why, do you know why they have them? I don't know.
They may feel that it's part of a romanticized culture. There's an aspect of this, a kind of Wild West cowboy Dirty Harry aspect.
All right, we're going to get to that culture part in a second. Let's get Eric's thoughts first.
Yeah, I have to make a point. You know, when a hurricane or a disaster comes through and gas station owners jack up the price of gasoline, there's a law that prevents them from gouging the customers, gouging the people. Yeah. Bob Costas is gouging the American people. What he's doing is using a tragedy to go ahead and make himself known, taking a platform on gun control that has nothing to do with the football game he was supposed to be announcing. This is absolute ridiculous. And NBC, by the way, should sanction Bob Costas for using that platform to do that, because it was a football game, Bob. It was Sunday Night Football. Hold on. It was Sunday Night Football. I tuned into Sunday Night Football to watch football, not have Bob Costas spew liberal BS to me about gun control.
Unless he was spewing pro-gun stuff, you'd probably like that.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't want that either.
You know, the thing that caught my eye today in a print interview, and then Bob Costas said it again, is that this was all the fault of a Dirty Harry Wild West culture, which Dirty Harry was part of law enforcement, even if maybe the language methods.
He was chasing a serial killer. So what would Costas like instead? Would he like Bonnie and Clyde culture? Would he like natural-born killers culture? Would he like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre culture? Is that better than having a culture where somebody actually protects themselves? What keeps people safe and what drives Costas mad are guns. Every time he opens his mouth, his brain cells try to escape. Here's some hate facts. Here's some hate facts. These are facts that the left hate because they're true. More kids die from betting than bullets. 1.5% of all accidental fatalities are from firearms. Betting and bags kill 18 times more kids. So you might as well ban Snuggies while you're at it.
Can I give you a number?
Sure.
I'll give you a number. Motor vehicle accidents killed 36,216 people in 2009. Homicide by handgun, 11,000. So 3 times more people died at the hands of vehicular homicide. And that's your reason. So therefore, should we ban driving in cars?
I see. Yeah. I see. That's your typical fallback right-wing position. And all these people drive cars, therefore we ought to have our guns.
Can we get Kimberly in here?
Yeah,
as a former prosecutor?
This isn't an issue about gun control. This is an issue about domestic violence. And a man who had a troubled past, had a history documented of being, unfortunately, sadly abusive to women, an inability to be able to control his temper and his emotions, a lack of impulse control. And we see situations like that. It's not about the gun. It was about what was troubling Jovan Belcher.
I'm really glad you brought that up. On the same day that Jovan Belcher committed this crime, there was a man who beat his wife with a baseball bat and killed her. Okay? He wasn't a pro football player. Sure. Doesn't drive a Bentley. Didn't make millions of dollars. But he, on the same day. So that's why I think talking about the gun culture so-called issue is actually a cop-out and not dealing with the real issue about mental health, anger management, and domestic violence.
Or just is there a real issue, Kimberly, that somebody, you just said, had a long history of mental disturbances, alcoholism, and domestic abuse, that he could be allowed to buy these guns legally and freely?
Look, he applied for a permit. He was able to have a weapon. That is his legal, lawful right, depending on what. Hold on, depending on what. No, depending on what kind. They don't keep people whether they think you have too many drinks or not from buying weapons. They don't. That's not one of the criteria.
Same guy, Bob, doesn't get a gun because you want to ban handguns or whatever ban you want to put on it. Same guy gets in a car, but that's okay with you?
Can you
same guy.
Can you name one person you know that ever saved?
Recovering whatever gets in the car, but that's okay. But give me
no, I don't think it's okay at all.
It's constitutional right to own a gun.
Listen, can you name me one person you know that saved their lives by handgun?
There's millions that saved their lives. I know. Yeah, how's this? I know many people who saved their own property because they had a handgun. A lot of them are in Florida right now. People have started to rob them, break into the house. I got a gun.
Bob, I think that is actually I think it skirts the issue that women are victims of violence all the time.
Should have guns.
And they could, well, maybe that or make better decisions.
Or learn to protect themselves. Guns are for people to even the score against somebody who is larger or more powerful than you are. Who doesn't need a gun more than a young woman walking home at night? They should have permits to carry. By the way, I want to go back to like people who have permits to carry, and do they end up abusing the law? According to in the Florida records, they issued 1.36 million permits. Only 165 were revoked. In the Texas violent crime rate dropped 20% and homicide 31% since enactment of the '96 carry law. It seems to me when you tell somebody they can't own,
dropped all over this country.
When you tell somebody they can't own a gun, you are actually endangering their lives. You're actually harming somebody's family when you say they can't own a gun.
Well, why don't we just strap a gun on and walk around the street?
It'd be safer.
Beautiful.
It'd be a safer country.